Have you ever wondered why women actually have sex? Well, let's just hop into these reasons and our minds just might be blown. Here we go, up and you already know.
Please, let's be honest. If there is no medical condition involved in the reason for your attitude towards sex, you know you have a switch.
Okay, I just thought I was tripping. I'm hearing this sound.
Well, this switch is a button you can just turn on or off, and when you want to, you can flip that switch with ease. But here is the real question. Why? Why does that switch turn on so easily for the bad boys? The ones who don't even deserve your love, but suddenly go off when it comes to the loyal, committed husband.
Wow. I'm sure that's a question that every modern man would like to know. This ought to get interesting. Buckle up, boys.
Now another question is, why was intimacy effortless before marriage, but now it feels like a chore? I mean, why does that happen?
One look and I breathe.
Well, at the start of a relationship, passion is intense. The excitement is there. The desire is real. And intimacy feels natural. But as time passes, something shifts. The connection weakens. The passion fades. And before you know it, sex becomes rare, forced, or non existent. So, why does this happen? Let's break it down. Because sex isn't just an act, it's a reflection of how a woman views her relationship. And for many wives, sex becomes a tool rather than an expression of true connection. Now, let's talk about how sex becomes a tool. Sex is, for one, a tool for gratitude. This is so not good. Let's talk about something no one wants to talk about and no one wants to admit. Sex is something used as a thank you gift rather than an expression of love. Ever heard, ever heard a woman say things like, I should give him some tonight. I should give him some tonight. He's been so nice to me. And someone else would say, he took me on the trip, so I guess I owe him a lot. When intimacy is transactional, it loses its meaning. Now imagine this. A man provides for his wife. He supports her. He listens to her. He loves her. And if in the beginning she shows gratitude through sex, and it was all going fine, what happens when gratitude fades? If sex was never about genuine desire, once the thank you wears off, the connection crumbles. Sex should never be a reward system. If it is, it's only a matter of time before it stops completely. So, number two, sex as a tool for security. Some women use sex as a form of currency for security. If a man provides a home, pays the bills, and ensures stability, intimacy becomes an unspoken exchange. If she feels safe, she engages. If she doesn't, she withdraws. But here's the problem. When sex is a trade, real intimacy disappears. If a wife only connects when the need or when she needs something, is she truly in marriage or just using her marriage?
All right, whoa. We gotta. Yeah, that's insane. That's really how a lot of these marriages move. So, yeah, Honey took me out on this very nice vacation. Yeah, I haven't gave it to him in about 3 weeks, so it's about that time I should probably give it to him. Just to, breadcrumb and ultimately have him chasing this dangling carrot. Because I don't really like him. He's just a beta provider for me that, the real person that I actually like wouldn't really give a flying about me. And that's the one I'd give it up to for literally absolutely nothing and for free. Tying back to the first point, what she was saying at the beginning of the video, like why women are just willing to give it up for the bad boys who don't even care about them. But like, is that? I just don't know, man. Like, I don't think any guy will ever be able to really understand why that is. Like, why would you? Maybe it's her just chasing the validation from a guy who's not willing to give it to her. And that's just how narcissistic a lot of women are. Like, they need to chase this validation when they can just have the validation from someone that actually really likes them and actually cares about them. I don't know, man. It's just a lot of this modern women talk is just like, it's just backwards day, man. It's just all logic really thrown out this window. It's really mind blowing. As much as you are aware of female nature, it's still just is shocking to the male mind since we think logically as to why any creature would even think that way and move that way. God help us all.
Let's flip the script. Imagine if a husband only gives his wife attention when he wants sex. How would that feel? I know this happened that some men do that, but their worth in marriage is reduced to what they provide. This is why many good husbands feel unloved, unseen, and emotionally abandoned.
And to be honest too, like I really feel like most like husbands, guys, men, whatever, they're actually solid dudes. But for some reason, a solid dude that's literally providing, protecting, doing all XYZ for you gets no respect and is just treated like a doormat. And ultimately in the West, and probably expanding to other places around the globe, a girl could just go out and cheat, do whatever she wants, be for the streets, and just be like, you know what? Ted's not really doing it for me anymore. I need to find myself. Divorce, split up the kids, family, all that stuff, and ultimately the ones that really end up paying for it is really just the kids and the husband. Only one who really gains from it would be her, if it's in a situation where a lot of times, maybe not so much anymore since a lot of women are making more money, but at least historically speaking, most guys are actually the breadwinners and doing all that. So it's just like, that's some next level narcissism, man. And it's actually pretty scary. I was hearing something where girls actually like lie to themselves to justify like their bullshit. And they actually believe it. Like, that really is like frightening. That's like really like some sociopathic, psychopathic behavior. It's actually frightening. Like, that's actually scary. Like, if I was just to lie to myself and I was actually believing the lies I was telling myself, like, that's crazy. Man.
Number 3, sex is seen as a tool for comfort. Let's be honest once again. Every woman wants comfort, a stable home, and emotional security, a stress-free life. These are one of the things women want, but comfort requires effort from both persons, from both partners. A good man deserves to come home to a happy wife, and a happy wife deserves to have a husband who shows up fully in the marriage. But if a wife only engages in intimacy when she feels completely comfortable, What happens when life gets hard? What happens? What if finances take a hit? What if stress builds up? What if there is conflict or there are conflicts in one way or another? Definitely conflicts will come up. So what happens then? If comfort is the only motivation for intimacy, the moment things get tough, the marriage suffers. True intimacy is about connection and not just convenience. So, number 4 is sex as a tool for having children. This is a hard truth, but it is a truth. Some women only desire sex for one purpose and one purpose only, to have children.
And this take isn't that bad because that's what it's really designed for anyway. So I really don't necessarily have a problem with that because I mean that's the whole purpose of procreation. So I mean that's not a bad take.
They dream of a family, and they dream of a stable family to start with, a stable home and a future with kids. But once that goal is met and achieved, sex becomes less frequent and stops completely. Why? Because the mission is complete. But when a husband becomes just a sperm donor, the relationship loses its emotional depth. Now, the relationship has to be actually deep. That is what marriage is all about. But if a wife gets busy with motherhood, the focus shifts to the children, the romantic connection fades. Soon, the husband feels like a stranger in his own home. Let's talk about sex as a tool for financial gains. Let's be real.
And I think this is the most common reason for, throwing a poo-tang out. So
use sex to secure a wealthy lifestyle. It's almost everywhere. They engage passionately when there is a luxurious trip on the table, when there's an expensive gift involved in almost everything they do, when there's a promise for financial stability. But here's the question. What happens when the money disappears? Crickets, right? What really does happen? If a marriage was built on transactional intimacy, then what happens when financial hardship comes? So does emotional detachment. They come hand in hand. Love should never be based on what a husband can buy. Intimacy should never be a business exchange. If sex is bargained like a contract, a marriage will never feel real. So then, let's talk about the dangerous cycle of scheduled sex. Here is where it gets worse. Some wives schedule sex just to keep the marriage going, just to keep the marriage running. It could be twice a month, just enough to avoid complaints. It could be just enough to maintain the illusion of a happy marriage. It could be just enough to keep the peace. But what happens when intimacy becomes an obligation rather than a connection? Resentment builds up. Desire disappears. Love starts to feel like a duty, not a joy. Good men struggle with this. This is why good men feel trapped. They try to understand. They try to fix things.
it's crazy, man. It's like you get punished for being a good man, and man, that's some evil shit, bro. Granted, I do believe nice guys do finish last, but you can not be a nice guy and still be a good man, and you somehow are losing by actually fulfilling your duties and your obligations. Bro, if that doesn't tell you how sick, not all, but a lot of female psychology is, it's just, why did our creator make a lot of women this way? Is just a question I'm sure no one will ever be able to figure out.
They try to be patient, but no matter how much effort they put in, the truth remains. If the woman mentally switches off, nothing, absolutely nothing turns her back on except herself. So, what's the solution? Ladies, own your happiness. Intimacy isn't about fulfilling a duty, it's about creating a connection that lasts. If you feel disconnected from your husband, ask yourself, is it really him, or is there something deeper at play? Has intimacy become a tool instead of an expression of love? A strong marriage starts with honest communication, emotional presence, and real connection, not just obligations. So do not expect your wife to be like having this in her head saying, wife, it's your duty. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Create an opportunity for her. Create the environment for her to be able to make herself happy. It's in her to know what makes her happy. The moment your wife is able to figure it out, she spreads that goodness in the house. But women, you have to be consciously ready to be happy. Because happiness is just like cooking. It's just like baking. The moment you are able to prepare a meal, you just want to share. You automatically will not want to eat it yourself. You want people to compliment you. So that is how it is. You just want to share. And the moment you share it, it lights up your entire house. So here are my final thoughts. Sex should never be a reward. Sex should never be a transaction. Sex should be an expression of love, desire, and true.
No, it just should be a natural thing that just would happen just if you're actually truly attracted to the person you're with instead of just using them for XYZ, so 100%. Women don't like it when another woman decides to speak the truth. Yeah, what's crazy about that is the fact that women will cancel other women and this is why I believe the hive mentality really exists. Women will cancel other women that speak out on other women's bull crap. Women actually women's own worst enemy because none of them are really helping each other. They're all really just dragging each other down because they give terrible advice to each other. They don't turn the switch off. They leave it on for the boyfriend. The bad boys relieve women of all responsibility and accountability. They don't have to think. They just react. That's actually a valid point. That actually makes sense. The bad boys relieve women of all responsibility and accountability. That actually makes sense. My wife and I have been together for 20 years. We have been through a lot of challenges. We jump on each other all the time as if we first met. All right, cool, bro. I don't even want to care. I don't care to even read that. I hate people who just brag in comments. It's mad annoying. She was available for sex before marriage because she had an agenda, and after she got married, she didn't have to put in effort because she thought I had trapped him. Now he isn't going anywhere. Men, look after yourself, 100%. Like, people don't understand how underrated people think sex is until you get married, and sex is very powerful than how we see it. Sex is not a chore but a responsibility. You must always adhere to it, especially in marriage, unless marriage would crumble without you realizing it. Yeah. Such marriages are the reality for most men. Most wives are not sexually attracted to the husband. He was not her first choice and settled with him because her fertility window was closing and couldn't find a stable man she's attracted to. Man, life is crazy, bro. Life is actually literally insane. Yeah, it's cooked. But anyways, guys, I'm very curious to see what you guys' comments are and your thoughts. I'd love to see your thoughts down in the comments down below. Really, it really does help the algorithm. I'm a smaller channel, and I'm ultimately trying to get this thing to grow. So yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in hearing you guys' thoughts because, man, the world is just kind of sick, man. Sometimes it just gets deep like that where you just like, damn, bro, like, what are we doing? It's a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but I'll catch you guys on the next one.